lives. That moment confirmed what our family had already known, that my father's impact stretched way far beyond our home. For many years, my father worked at Worthy's Barbershop. Many of the city's pastors, politicians, and everyday people sat in his chair. With each haircut, he encouraged, uplifted, and offered the wisdom only a compassionate listener could give. He always ended by saying, God bless you, and you're good for 1,000 miles. He taught me through that simple phrase that ministry is not confined to a sanctuary. Ministry can meet people wherever they are. My father also taught me the dignity of hard work. When our family needed extra income, he took a custodial job at the West Haven Community Center. As a child, I was a little boy. I thought it was fun to ride on the floor buffer while he cleaned the floor. But as I grew up and became a man with my own family, I came to understand what my dad was teaching me. He was teaching me the power of hard work, resilience, humility, and integrity. Those same values have now shaped myself, my brother, my children, and hopefully my grandchildren as well. Eventually, he opened his own business, Cox Barber Shop. That neighborhood in the late 80s and early 90s was challenged. It was a dangerous time, and I was nervous. But I watched my dad to transform that barbershop into a sanctuary. No cussing allowed. A safe place where men and boys and women can come not only for a haircut, but for counsel, hope, and prayer. He built the community one person at a time. As I close, this is one story I'll never forget. While I was working at Lake Grove, a residential program for youth, a young teenager, came to me and said, "Is your name John Carter?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Is your father a barber?" I said, "Yes." He said, "When you see him, tell him thank you." He shared that when he attended troop school, he was afraid to walk to school every morning. That was until my father stopped cutting hair and would walk him to troop school every morning so he could feel safe. Stories like these are countless. My father's the kind of man who belongs to the memory and the fabric of this city. His life represents the best of New Haven: faithfulness, compassion, community, and service. For these reasons, I humbly petition this honorable council and committee to designate a street corner in the honor of my dad, Deacon John Cotton Sr. Let this corner stand as a reminder of the quiet heroes who shape our neighborhoods, not with fanfare or applause, but with love, humility, and unwavering service to others. Thank you for your time, your consideration, support. Respectfully submitted by yours truly, Reverend John Cotton, pastor of New Hope, founder of Hope, but tonight, Deacon John Cotton Sr.'s oldest son. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Danielle Cotton, and Deacon John Cotton Sr. is my father in love. And I am in support of a street sign named after him because he is a pillar in our community. And I've been a part of this family for over 30 years, and he's always been kind, loving, and supportive. I've watched him work tirelessly at the barbershop on Orchard and Edward, not only cutting clients' hair, but also building relationships that still endure even though he's retired. His shop was a safe haven for people to enter and to feel safe, whether they were children stopping in before or after school, mothers bringing their sons in for their very first haircut, children returning home from college and just coming in to get their haircut, or just people coming in for conversation and encouragement. Clients have shared meals, they've watched movies, they've gathered for conversations and community engagement, and they build friendships all while getting their weekly haircut. So I am honored this evening to share my statement about my father-in-law, John Cotton Sr., because he gave years of service and investment to the Dwight area. And I am asking that you petition that a sign of the honor for his name. Thank you.
And before you give just state your name and address for the record.
So my name is Danielle Cotton, 1322 Town Walk Drive, Camden, Connecticut. Thank you.
And just as a reminder, if everyone could state name and address for the record, and then go into your testimony. Thank you. Okay.
Good evening to the committee. My name is Reverend Kim Cotton. My address is 322 Butternut Street, and I live in the city of Middletown. I'd like to say good evening. My name, already said that word. I'm speaking in support and honoring my brother-in-law, who is Mr. John Cotton, by way of putting up a sign with his name. I come tonight to tell you that he's a man whose barbershop stood as a fixture in this community for over 30 years. His hands may have held clippers, but his heart held this community together in ways that went far beyond a haircut. Everywhere, can I tell you, everywhere we go as a family, whether we're out to dinner, at church, or even just around town, someone always stops us and says, "You remember me? You used to cut my hair," or "You used to cut my son's hair." And we even have a running joke among the family. We'll say to each other, "Did John cut his hair?" And so it just never fails. People still share their memories. One person recently said, "Mr. Cotton, my son needs his first haircut. I live in Maryland, but I'm coming home to Connecticut next week, and I'd love for you to be the one to cut my son's hair for the first time, because you gave me my first haircut." That's the kind of impact he has had, a legacy that crossed generations and state lines. It wasn't just about the haircut, it was about the connection. He made people feel like family. His barbershop wasn't just a business, it was a safe place, a place where stories were shared, advice was given, and the love for the community was lived out every single day. And so to hang a sign in his honor on the street where his barbershop is more than just a gesture, it's a testimony to the kind of man that he is and the difference that he has made in this city. It's a reminder that greatness isn't only found in titles or positions, but in everyday acts of kindness and consistency. So I respectfully ask that you approve this request so that generations to come will remember Mr. John Cotton, not just as a barber, but as a friend, as a mentor, and as a pillar of this community. Thank you.
So use your outside voice. So
Just not into it.
Anthony Hawkins Senior, 153 Second Street, Camden. I'm here with a petition and also for the street sign for Deacon John Cotton Senior. I'm coming as a customer. I
I'm sorry.
I lived on Fair Street, right around the corner from the barber shop. And so in that neighborhood, it was a rough neighborhood, but as everyone said, the barbershop is a safe place for us all the young Black men in the neighborhood. We would come in there, we would talk, we would sit down, and as that father figure he was to all of us in the neighborhood, he had words of wisdom, and we came in to get that wisdom from him, and it was good for all of us. You know, as I grew up in that neighborhood and had kids of my own, my sons, I brought my sons into the barbershop. And the thing was, because of him being a church man, he gave us good advice. He also cut my son's hair, but he had one weekend, he had what he called the cotton barbershop day. And that day, you were able to get a free haircut if you went to church. So I took my sons that day, and it was a great experience. And until this day now, not only do I go to church with him, but I am also a deacon at the church. So his influence not only influenced me, but my son is a deacon in the church. So his influence not only influenced me, but it influenced my family. He's a great guy. He's a supportive guy. And I appreciate everything that he has done for me and my family. And I think that he deserves a sign on that corner.
Good evening. My name is John Cotton III. I live at 1765 Fox Boulevard, North Frankfurt. I'm here for the street sign for my grandfather. I'm his oldest grandson. And I'm just requesting their approval for the street sign honoring my grandfather. As stated, his barbershop was a true staple in the community. I spent many days, many evenings there with his son. Great times. His shop was more than a business. It was a gathering place that shaped the neighborhood, made a lot of friends at the barbershop. We'd walk from the barbershop, go to the YMCA, play basketball, come back to the barbershop. So just great stories and great times. Once again, it was a safe place. Back then, as mentioned, the neighborhoods was a little rough. So in that place, there was no beefs, right? Our friends could come to that place, ride with us from bikes across town and not have to worry about anything that happened in the barbershop because that was a safe place. And as our community grows and as it develops, I definitely want my grandfather ensure that his legacy remains through the development of the community. And especially for his grandchildren who won't have the chance to experience the barbershop and have those same stories that I had. So I just want to thank you for considering this for my grandfather.
Thank you all for your testimony. Are there any questions from committee members? Thank you very much. Thank you for your testimony. Sounds like he was a pretty impressive. He is an impressive. He's here. I don't know if we should. Do we have him come up? Yeah. Deacon, will you come up? I mean,
She was scared. Excellent.
look at this. Thank you. Deacon Collins, hi. Hello. Do you and before we actually continue, I just want to recognize Alder Furlow being here this evening. Our majority leader. So Deacon Collins.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure to hear about you. You're quite an impressive human being. And I'm sure I can speak on behalf of my colleagues that we're grateful for everything that you've done for our community, past, present, and hopefully future. So what do you think of all these accolades? What are your thoughts on this coordinating? And I'll leave your name and address for the record as well.
Name is John Cotton, and address is 6 Parks Drive, New Haven, Connecticut, 06515. This is something new for me right here. Glad to be here, and I helped out a lot of people at the shop. You know, when they come in. I even had one fellow one day. He came in, and he got his hair cut, and he didn't have the money. So he said, "Can he go home and get the money?" And he wanted to leave his coat because you know the people do they fool you. So I told him, "No, man, take your coat with you when you come back. You know, with the money. You come today, you come today. Don't come tomorrow." It's a good place. I used to take care of a lot of kids that they go to school. Their mother would drop the kids off, and especially when they get out of school, they come in and they sit there and wait for their parents to come. You know, I was like a babysitter. It was all good.
I would say a mentor more than a babysitter. You were a mentor, and you know, my dad, who actually was an immigrant and was a hairdresser, I'm going to say you are a psychologist. Whoever sat in the chair, I'm sure you helped them on many levels outside of mentoring. Alder Marks.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I just want to thank all of you for raising up this story and for sharing this and sharing this loved one and your love of him. I've been driving by a sign on the left-hand side of the road on the side of the building that said Cotton Barbershop. About 20 years. Story, feel my heart. Every time I drive by that sign. Thank you for raising this up. Thank you for being an inspiration. Thank you for everything you did. I'm really touched so that we'll, as I drive, I'll see the sign as well. Thank you.
Any questions from committee members? Let's see if this will.
Well, actually, I don't have a question, I have a comment. Anyone grew up in Haven always associate Coppins with barbershop and church, and he has always done a good job, a great job, and it's an honor and a privilege to see you tonight and also to help award you this. You deserve it. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you did come up and say a few words because, you know, these are honors. Obviously, we have to vote on it as a committee. We still have to follow procedure, and it does go to what's called the first reading and then second reading. So we'll have our first meeting, but then it's our second full board of all the meeting that we vote on the item as a full board. But I thank you for being here tonight. I thank you all for your comments and testimony and you know, allowing us to get to know you as well. And thank you for everything that you've done for our community and offering that safe place. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If there is anyone else that would like to testify on behalf of this honor naming, you're welcome to come forward. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and testify on this item, this corner naming? And for a third time, is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of the Deacon Cotton corner naming? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the second corner naming. Tonight is our corner naming night. And I welcome all the Rodriguez to the table. Thank you, Madam Chair. Of the Senate to the committee. And I'm here today to testify on behalf of the wonderful individual board. J. Malthus. I have the honor of introducing the order to Mrs. Me.
You gotta put that closer.
I have the honor of introducing an order to designate the northeast corner of Redfield Street and Columbus Avenue as Jerry J. Bell Corner. As I share the statement, I'm going to share the testimony, more color will be put, as we have several wonderful individuals that know Jerry J. Bell personally. And among them, we have the Honorable President, former President of the Board of Alders, Tomas Reyes, and we also have Honorable and former Commissioner of Police, Anthony Dawson, among them. Mr. Jerry Bell was born in Newburgh, North Carolina on February 20th, 1929. And then he moved to New Haven and made his home in New Haven in 1956 in the Hill neighborhood. He chose the Hill neighborhood not just as a place to live, but as a community to serve. From his work in housing and with the Housing Authority, Veterans Hospital, Jewish Home for the Aged, staff builders, and so many neighborhood efforts, he's devoted his life to building stronger and more caring community. For more than 30 years, Mr. Bell has served as the garden coordinator of Redfield Street, transforming what was once a dumping site into a thriving community garden that nourished both bodies and spirit. Mr. Bell continued to take care of the garden until now we have other individuals that are now taking care of this beautiful green space, fruits and vegetables in that garden. There are other individuals that are helping to keep that effort alive. He taught children art,
played the drums, supported community dance groups, promoted voter registration, provided fresh produce and guidance to the ageless, mature adult group, always leading with love, generosity, and dignity. He has served in many boards. He also served in the United States military, which he is a proud veteran, and we commemorate his service for his freedom. At this time, I'd like to thank him personally for protecting our freedoms and our rights. In 2023, he was named Senior Volunteer of the Year, a recognition that only begins to reflect his lifelong dedication. In 2025, Mr. Bell continues to maintain written correspondence with not only our state delegation, but also our federal Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, United States Senator Blumenthal and Chris Murphy, and many other officials in Washington, D.C. on issues affecting the city of New Haven, a contribution he continues to make today. I'm a test of all the written correspondence he receives and how he carefully addresses each of them, whether it be a letter asking for a survey, completing a survey, or even his own comments and his consultations directly to them by writing. Mr. Bell still does that. Mr. Bell persists in serving his community through mentoring and consulting individuals such as myself. You can visit him, and he shares of all his knowledge and experience, the gifts he has, the words he can share to uplift one and motivate one, and to help them to continue to build their careers, as well as others, to help us achieve successful professional lives. Additionally, he has received many certificates for charitable donations to many organizations, naming, and I'd like to, most important, I'd like to share that his family continues his legacy, and they have joined him in their commitment to community. His daughter, Yvette Glenn, and her husband were before the Board of Alders not so long ago, where she is sharing with us their commitment to have unhoused homeless become homeowners. And they have already produced product in this manner. Naming this corner Jerry J. Bell Corner ensures that his legacy in the Hill neighborhood and in our city will live on a permanent reminder of what it means to be a true neighbor who shows up, serves quietly, and leaves every space better than they found it. I respectfully ask my colleagues to join me in supporting this order in honor of Mr. Bell and all that he has given to New Haven and continues to give. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Rodriguez. And just for the record, we need your name and address.
Alder Evelyn Rodriguez, 79 Arch Street, New Haven, Connecticut.
Thank you.
This time I'd like to read a letter from his pastor, Kim Vance, lead pastor of the Vertical Church. And it states, "It is with great joy and deep respect that I write this letter of reference to poor Jerry Bell, a longstanding and faithful member of Vertical Church. For many years, Jerry has been a pillar in both our church family and the wider community, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to serve others through the love and compassion of Christ. From the moment he joined our congregation, it is evident that Jerry's heart for service flows directly from his love for God. His willingness to offer a helping hand to those in need embodied the word of Jesus in Matthew 25:40. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me."
What makes Jerry's service so meaningful is that it is not motivated by recognition, but by faith. He serves humbly, always quick to give glory to God and to encourage others to live out their faith in practical, loving ways. The positive impact he has made in the city is a reflection of a life devoted to God's purpose, one that seeks to bring light, hope, and dignity to others. As Jerry is being honored for his outstanding community service, we in the church celebrate with gratitude for the testimony of a believer whose faith is not merely spoken but lived daily. He truly exemplifies what it means to be the hands and feet of Jesus in the world. I give my highest recommendation and heartfelt commendation for Jerry as he receives this well-deserved recognition. May his example continue to inspire others to love God deeply and serve their neighbors faithfully. With warm regards and blessings, Ken Vance, the pastor. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Alder Rodriguez. Thank you. For those that would like to testify on behalf of this morning, please come forward. And again, as a reminder, I will ask once you're seated to state your name and address for the record and then go into your testimony. We can get them. Fill them up. Just grab one more chair. And you know what, we'll give everyone the opportunity, even up here. If there's a chair for you, just. Yeah. Oh, is it? All right. Hi, everyone. Hello. There's a microphone right there. You do need to hold it somewhat close. And again, yes, I ask that you state your name and address for the record and then go into your testimony. And you could just pass the microphone when you're done to the next person. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes,
Go ahead.
hello everyone, good evening, my name is Vilma Bell, I'm from 47 Redfield Street in Navy, Illinois. Yeah, the elders, city of New Haven residents, family and friends. My name is Vilma Bell and I am a New Haven native from the Hill community in the Whitefoot Village in Downey. With whom I have shared 46 wonderful years of marriage. Throughout our life together, Jerry had always been the man devoted to serve, allowing me to take you back. Jerry was raised in Brooklyn, New York, and after his family emerged from New Bern, North Carolina in the 1930s to escape from Jim Crow in the South, he was raised by his mother and relatives who operated in seamstress business interest in the North. From a very young age, Jerry learned the values of hard work, serve, and community. He learned to bake from his mother, and by the age of 8, he was already volunteering to help other children in his Brooklyn neighborhood. As he grew older, Jerry spoke with his mother about volunteering, enlisting in the Army to avoid being drafted. And with her blessings, he did just that. He went on to serve in World War II, where he further developed his skills and continued serving others as a cook. After completing his service, he worked at Kings County Hospital in New York City. In the 1950s, Jerry relocated to New Haven, where he held various jobs and began building a white nation network of community relationships. He worked at both the VA and Yale as with the mental health patients, and he also volunteered his time and many talents with the Bowen and Peters dance agency. He did drumming, he created masks, he traveled to different places with his dear friends and respected community leaders, Ken Peters and Michael Myers. In the 70s, Jerry worked from home maintenance, where he became deeply involved in advocating for the affordable housing in New Haven. His dedication earned him as appreciation award as chairman for outstanding services and long hours of dedication to the home maintenance collaboration. Through this work, he met numerous local and state leaders and became a proud homeowner through the Dollar Houses program in 1970s. Jerry's purchased and rehabilitated a multi-family home in the Hill Cooperative, where our family still resides today. His community involvement only grew from there, and Jerry advocated for policy changes, served as a voter and monitor on Davenport Avenue for many years, and held organization meetings right in his home. Through this work, he formed longtime friendships with fellow communities advocates such as Tony Dawson, Norma Reyes, and Thomas Reyes. Jerry's love community runs deep, where an empty lot across the street from our home became full of debris and trash. He saw an opportunity instead of a problem. He reached out to the New Haven Land Trust, held multiple meetings, and successfully advocated for the creation of a community garden. Jerry spent countless hours cultivating and nourishing that garden, which continues to flourish today. Even now, Jerry's commitment to serve remains strong. He leads his voice to surveys and advocates efforts on behalf of the veterans, seniors, wildlife, and Connecticut residents. He regularly signs petitions that go to the United States Senator, as well as the officers of Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, Senator Richard Blumenthal, and Senator Richard Christopher Murphy. I'm deeply proud of the work Jerry has campaigned for nearly 5 decades. My family and I thank you for your time and for considering the name of Jerry J. Bell in honor of his life, time and service of devotion to the Hill community and the city of New Haven. Thank you. Thank you. We did it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Keisha Ho. I'm from 147 Promenade Drive, New Haven, Connecticut. I am a New Haven native, though. It's in your heart. So, I figured on pretty. There we go. Oh, right. I met Mr. Bell 2014. When I met him, Justin Elliker was the director of New Haven Land Trust. I reached out to Justin. He introduced me to Mr. Bell. It was love from then on. He provided space to me and my seniors. I run a group called Ageless Mature Adults. My group, we don't like to stay still. We like to be in a community. My goal was to not sit down and play bingo all day. These people have able bodies, able minds. Let's get out and do something. They were used to, most of my people come from the South. So many of them grew up in the garden or in the farm. Some of them tell me stories like, Keisha, I ain't doing this work. I picked cotton when I was 8 years old. I ain't doing this. I said, it's not about the work. It's about the community. It's about having something else to do other than just sitting on our butts playing bingo. What is that going to do? Use it or lose it is my motto. So we use it, our minds, our bodies, everything. And we eat from the garden. So like I said, our group is called Ageless Mature Adults. We honored Mr. Bell because he has been an honor to us. So we wanted to honor him. So we honored him at the senior luncheon in 2023. I heard him speak about it. So I'm going to read what I wrote
on his behalf. Okay, Mr. Bell has volunteered his time with all sorts of groups, as you have heard over the years. He even provided art classes to children. Mr. Bell has been the garden coordinator of Redfield Street for 33 plus years. Mr. Bell assisted in the planning and implementation of the community garden. He even sketched the garden, how he wanted it to look, what he wanted it to look like. Mr. Bell works hard every single year. I show pictures of him. I have a picture I'm gonna show you tonight, where I grew these collard greens. They stayed out there green until November. And he picked one leaf to show me, Keisha, how they look. Mr. Bell is 96 years old. That man be out there in the dirt, planting seeds, raking. He gives no excuses. Mr. Bell works hard every year with many demands of maintaining the garden, like I said, raking, cutting the grass. He kind of cut back on the cutting the grass. We can't have him out there cutting the grass. We have somebody helping us with that. Each year I learn more and more. I just want to pick his brains. And he learned the same way by doing the work. He had no idea what he was doing. I had no idea what I was doing, but now I do. Over this past 10 years, I'm learning more and more each year. With weeding, planting, harvesting, and watering, each year it does get better. Mr. Bell turned a neighborhood dumping site, as you heard over and over, into a beautiful, flourishing garden, a community garden for all these years. A space for my group we want to have a community garden. He has had community garden cookouts in the garden, but we haven't recently. We need to pick that back up again. But our group is thinking of ways to eat healthy and stay active. Thank you for this time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ali Bell, 47 Redfield Street, Maryland. I'm the son of Gary Bell. Just real quick, I just want to say, I didn't have anything right now. Wasn't worried. No. But just growing up as his son has been a delightful situation. I feel like there's not a thing I haven't seen him do. You know, from cooking, sewing, gardening, block parties. He's always out helping somebody doing something. Maybe somebody else's situation, or if not at home. But one thing I can say, he's a very creative person when it comes to just managing space. Like she said, the garden, he has a vision for certain things, and I feel like that rubbed off on me as well. You know, I'm a very creative person. I have my own graphic design business and things like that. I feel like that's something that he kind of instilled in me just naturally. I don't know, through DNA or something, but yeah, he's such a strong guy. He's so, you know, from heart, soul, mind, body, everything. He's just like you said, he's 96. He's still moving and grooving. We can't get him to stay still. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, I feel like he still has a lot of drive in him. So we just want to honor him the best way that we can. So this is, you know, how we feel like we can, you know, just to leave something behind his name, which would be awesome, you know. And I also have a letter written from our neighbor, Miss Beverly. Her name is Beverly Howlett DeShields from, I think, is that 44 or 42? 46. I think 46 or 46. Yeah, right next to it. But she said, hello, my name is Beverly Howlett. Jerry has been my next door neighbor for 44 years. I first met Jerry in 1975 when we played the bongo drums for Bowen Peters School of Dance, where my daughters attended. Then in 1977, where he worked for Home Maintenance Corp, he was responsible for himself and 3 others, me being one of them, purchasing $1 houses. It's crazy. On Redfield Street, she said mine was in 1981. She said to this day, 3 of those houses remain and 1 burned down. She said Jerry has always been the pillar of our neighborhood. He would give block parties. He started a garden on our street. He would even drive myself and others to the store, and he waited patiently in the car while doing a crossword puzzle until we were done shopping, which is like, who does that? It's like 4 Uber guys, you know. But yeah, she said Jerry was a jack of all trades. He could do anything, and he would have any kind of gadget that you needed. On the way, you need a pen, you need some scissors. I got the scout stuff, you know, it had the scissors and like the little, he had anything. He had a little pocket thing for the chain in case you needed something for your meter. Yeah, she said he just needs to be honored and recognized for his unselfish contributions in the city. She said, your friend forever, Beverly, aka Cookie. That's all I have. I have a question.
If you speak into it, I think that eventually.
My name is, can you hear me? Yes.
Mhm.
Brian Jerome. 329 Edgewood Avenue in New Haven. No, Mr. Bell for a long time. I never called him Mr. Bell. I called him Jerry. Go back to the 70s. He helped me in my career with music. I'm one of the local musicians around. I'm a drummer. He provided support with the culture and the knowledge of the culture, specifically the African sciences and dance and music. And also, when I was a teen, there was an organization called the Teen Leadership Institute. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but he was, when I was given my name, Jarawa, it means peace loving. And he was one of the people that chose the name for me. So I'm here as a witness for Jerry Bell. There's so much I can say about him, but I can't put it together right now. Good man. To give him his flowers now.
Amen.
That's you.
My name is Michael Mills, and Jay Bell and I go back. It's nearly 50 years. The same as Gerald. We're both master drummers. We're here as your representation for Rhythm from the Heart. And Jay Bell is incredible. It ain't was, still is at 96. So we were best buddies, and with the garden with my mom, Miss Maddie, rest her soul. They did arts in the garden, and Jay Bell was a part of that on Davenport Avenue. But as far as the Ken and Angie Bone Peters, he brought some culture diversity to them. He made masks. He embraced the youth, like engagement. We don't have that today. People don't engage our kids today. They want to bash them with academia and what they demand them to learn. But Jay was always about, a spirit-filled, heartfelt person with Bowen Peters, even making masks and teaching diversity. I thank the city of New Haven for honoring such a great pillar in our greater New Haven area. But Jay Bell is phenomenal. And we'd seen him, a year ago, not even that. We was saying farewell to someone. Yo, man, when we gonna sit down and drum? Like, what's up? Let's go to the garden and beat some drums and grow some vegetables. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a joy in that man that touched many people with the celebration of living. Celebrate life is another start. So I just want to say thank you for having me. Michael Mills, 445 Front Avenue, West Haven, Connecticut, 06516. God bless you all abundantly.
Thank you. Sounds like his garden grows. This music. Amen. How they say, talk to your plants. I think we need to start playing our drums.
My mother taught the same. You got to talk to the plants in order for them to grow.
Right, too.
Or them you ain't getting nothing.
I'll be having a whole lot of conversations out there.
You be talking, right?
And they do respond, right? With their growth, they do. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lola Johnson. I'm from 65 Wright Street, New Haven. Jerry Bell is my forever friend. We call each other that. We've been friends for like 70 years. Used to come from Bronx to visit. I lived in the project. His sister lived there. We met. We were always coming to visit until they moved here. And we just been, there's so much I can say about Jerry. And so much has been said already. I agree with everything. Everything you guys say is and more. I could be here all day sitting talking about him. I don't have the energy. I'm like 89, but he was wonderful to me. We have been so good. It's good to my friends. It's good to my kids. My husband and him, they got along. Just an awesome man. Just this year they had a cookout. He was there having a good time. And the family at the retreat was there. They were always there. And because he's been there for everyone. So everybody's his friend, really. I can't claim it by myself, but I would like to. So anyway, I'm just glad for this. I'm just sorry that he's not here tonight, because I would like to give him his flowers now, while he's alive. But you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So everyone, we just have to just pray everything works out just fine for him. God bless everyone here.
To you, Ms. Lola.
Good evening. My name is Norma Rodriguez Reyes, and I am from 13 Harbor Close. And I come to speak on behalf of Jay Bell. I called my son up to ask him about Jay Bell. And you know what he said to me? He was the father of the street. All the kids in the neighborhood used to hang out in his house. And we're talking about Redfield Street, where we live. It's right across the street from where Jay Bell lives, 2 houses down. And so therefore, Andre, Juan Carlos, Basilio, Rafito, Diosis, Yvette, Ali, Junito, Jamina, the Kathy Viera, Celestino Rivera, all these kids in the neighborhood. He had a pretty big house and a backyard, in the backyard, and they would play basketball there all the time, jungle gym. They would definitely congregate in the yard. And he used to be the father when the fathers were busy out working. He was the father for all these kids, and they loved him so much, exactly like that. Now, I also called my other son to ask him about Jerry Bell. And you know what he said to me? Juan Carlos, this is Juan Carlos. He said, well, what I remember about Jay Bell is that he had a wife that was 40 years younger than him. But she's actually only 30 years younger. So I guess he always wanted to have a wife that is 30 years younger. God bless you. And but all seriousness aside, he was a good dude. He would play with us. He loved us so much. And he was nice, but he was also a disciplinarian. He always made sure that we were on the right track. And as soon as he saw that we were headed in a different direction, he'd bring us in, he'd tow us in. And there were actually 40 kids there. Now, and my speaking about Jay Bell is amazing. He was also a photographer. Yes, that hasn't been mentioned. He had pictures of all of our kids growing up every single year. Yeah. I am sure he has a gallery of pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is an excellent, I thank Evelyn Rodriguez for doing this. And thank all of you for being here. And I really would hope that the committee would definitely honor Jay Bell because he deserves this. Thank you so much and God bless.
Hello, my name is Amir Glenn. My address is 26 Corey Drive, Haven, Connecticut, 06515. I want to go ahead and put that zip code in there. So I'm coming and I'm representing my wife, and it's so funny because the biggest thing that I learned from my wife was her commitment to the community, and she always would say like, "Oh, it's kind of like it's been since my dad," and so tonight I have to do it because again, she's doing community. She's doing something for the first project for homeless families or for homeless women. Now, so she wasn't able to attend tonight, but she wanted me to come and say a few words. So the biggest thing that I've learned from my time with, I call him Papa Bell. So the time that I worked with Papa Bell, he's stubborn, and he's super stubborn. And if he wants to do something, he's going to do it. Mm-hmm. And that
Right now.
right now. And it's funny because, you know, I'll get a phone call from my wife and she's like, "Oh, Daddy was, he walked to the post office here. And I'm like, he walked to the post office? What post office? But it goes to show like his stubbornness, like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I guess when I look at my wife, I'm like, oh yeah, that's. But also it was, as we were talking about the pictures, yesterday we were going through some of the pictures, and there was a picture of the Chapel Square Mall. He was sitting there, and he had a table, and I think it was for the African Caribbean Festival. Yeah, and he was sitting there, and I was like, wow, look at this picture, and it's so amazing, because again, these are the things, like, and it's like a memory click back of like, I remember that. I remember all of these things that were happening. And so when you see someone like this in the community doing the work, and for a very long time doing the work, it's a responsibility that we have to honor him in the way that we honor him, especially because as you know, as I'm one of those people that know pretty much everybody in New Haven too. I bump elbows with people, and then as we're bumping elbows with people that grew up with, they're like, yeah, Papa Bell. We used to all sit at Papa Bell's house, and we'd be sitting over there with Mr. Bell. And I'm like, and I was like, Dad, I kind of wish I'd have grew up over there the way it was like. It's an amazing thing, but everybody just always wanted to point out the fact that he was all about the community and all about uplifting everybody from the garden, from the drum playing, from whatever it was, the art, everything, and my wife makes fun of me right now because I will sit down and I will, to this day on Saturdays, I will grab some sardines, some crackers, and she's like, oh my God, just like my dad, and I'll watch a documentary. And she's like, this is so Jerry Bell. And I'm like, hey, can't help it. I'm sorry. But these things, like I will go over there, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's doing the same thing. He's watching a documentary or eating some sardines, just like I'm like, oh. So it's just funny because I just wanted to speak more to the man himself, just being a good person, and open and welcome me with open arms. But I want to yield my time.
I gotta be cool again.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Dawson, former alderman of the 3rd Ward. And I come today to support Jay Bell because he supported me back in the 1970s before I even got out of high school. He basically helped me with the Timothy Dwight Hall, Yale University, George Pillsbury, and Frank Logan. Rosa DeLauro was executive assistant to Frank Logan as mayor, and we started the urban homesteading program. And then we organized the Black People Act for Change, which was the largest organization or the smallest organization in the city, but we organized the most block associations in New Haven's history. So we had Hill North and Hill South, we organized that. And I became the youngest person out of that, organizing with Frank Logan and Rosa and Jay and other members of the Timothy Dwight Yale students to be the youngest person to buy a dollar house in the city of New Haven's history. And I still own that property. I reside at 28 Ann Street in New Haven, and I owned 24, which was the dollar house that I originally bought, with some 200 or more other tenants that bought their houses, and we did the urban homesteading program under the home maintenance program. From there, we set up our own true lending library, which Jay was very instrumental in that, where homeowners could come in the Hill or that lived in the Hill that was doing remodeling could come out and also do rent, or not rent, but just lending. We lend them tools to do the repairs on their houses. And we also assist those who did not know exactly what they're doing. We put them in touch with technical people that can help. The one thing that wasn't said tonight was that I know he wanted me to be here about people acting for change and wanted me to be here about the home maintenance, but I also remember as a child, Jay wanted me to really be at West Point. He thought that I was a very smart, intelligent young man back in those days, but I stayed here. I served on this board for 17 years. I just retired from Young Haven Hospital as a lieutenant in security for 44 years. And I just could not do all that without guys like Jay and even Deacon Cotton and even Mr. James Perkins, who's also on this list today. Those were pillars in our community that when you stand out and show that you were about something, they were about making sure you got the information and got the right tools to do what you had to do. The thing that wasn't mentioned today is that I remember as a young boy, some ex-offenders coming out of prison. And I won't say their names because I didn't get the permission, but I remember these guys being a part of me. And I was sitting in Jay Bell's living room on Asylum Street. And they were the original writers of the Project More project. They did the grant in Jay Bell's living room. And I was one of those that sat there and they were teaching me how to do grant writing and also understand what the significance of coming out of jail meant and having people help you get back on track. So Jay Bell, I cried because at 66, he meant a lot, just like this man next door to me, the president of the board of aldermen for so many years. We did a lot, and we did a lot of groundbreaking things that are unique. I mean, this is how we got the food bank, this is how we got the land bank, this is how we got all the stuff that we have today, is because we did the research with Yale, and then we implemented with community having involvement, and Jay Bell was at the helm of that. So I would ask you to endorse this and that you won't go wrong. You'll show something for other kids to look at and say that Jay was a magnificent man and he's still a magnificent man. I just was out the other day. I came down the street and I looked and I thought it was him putting out the trash and I just stopped. Because it's that kind of guy, you can't stop. I mean, you can't stop, back up. And I did. And I said, Jay Bell, that's you? Yeah, is that you, Tony? And I said, yes, it is. And I will always cherish his friendship and love. And he's just a special guy. Thank you for the time. Yeah, I love it.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, I am Tomas Reyes, and I was Jay's alder for many years. I'm not going to repeat everything that's been said because I think you've heard it. And the one thing that stands out for me about my relationship with Jay, other than he was one of my early supporters when I decided that I was going to run for the Board of Alders. And that support was very specific. He wasn't a guy to say, yeah, I'm with you, and give you a lot of talk. He very methodically exemplified his support in his actions. And he was one of these rare individuals that he could relate to people at every level. You'd see him out there with the young kids, playing with them. You'd see him working with coworkers. You'd see him do political work, but very quietly. We could feel that Jay was on it, but you never heard. So you'd have to go back and think. And then when you talked to him, you knew that he knew exactly what was going on and was able to practice and mold what was happening. I recall when he was involved with the Home Maintenance Corporation, we had a lot of political fights because there was the Home Maintenance Corporation and then the Upper Hill Project Area Committee got started. And we were trying to cover the same services. But we would bump each other because obviously when you do that kind of work, you want to make sure you get the credit so you can get the funding for it. Jay Bell was uniquely able to get everybody together at the table. And it reminds me that the last time I saw Jay was at Annie Boyd's ceremony, getting a corner named after her. And it was interesting because when I left, I said, Annie and Jay must have got cut from the same DNA. Because they were very similar in their work for the community. And again, a lot of that for me was that he was able to relate to people on different levels. So when Jay spoke to you, you knew that you were listening to wisdom. And wisdom born of experience. And shame on you if you didn't follow his advice. I hope that you guys consider this. It would be an honor to have that corner made after Jay Bell. And there's nobody else that I know that deserves it more than Jay Bell.
Tommy Reyes, can I add to that? I have something to tell you with Jay. Tommy Reyes and I go way back with the whole Latina uprising in New Haven. And Jay and I were always buddies, right? Just you talking. So you were just coming into the political arena. And he came and he said, you know that Reyes cat, you know, over there doing all the Latina shit? He's got a lot of balls and he's awesome. I just wanted to say, because we would talk together, but he said because I remember we did parades and marching and I really appreciate that interrelationship. But that's what he said to me when we got together. About you were just coming into, I guess he represented, he was part of it.
Is my
So that's, I just
So
wanted
good, good thing Deacon,
I would still say it straight from my heart. I appreciate it. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, to everyone. I wasn't expecting, my name is Olga Rivera. I am a born Hill girl, raised in the Hill on Rainer Street. Basque should have been named Dr. Thomas, but that's okay. We're not here for that. So as I heard testimonies, I had an epiphany as I was coming in here. My husband said, "Oh, look, the Christmas tree. Right, that's across the street, hasn't been lit yet." And as I hear everyone's testimony, it reminded me that when the Christmas tree lights go on, it's Jerry, because we each have something that he lit in our hearts, in our lives. He affected us in such a way, such a positive way. And I just want to say that, and thinking of children, of generations to come. So when the street is named Jerry J. Bell, and a child or someone says, "Oh, who was that?" then someone can tell a story. Because just like it impacted us here today, I think this room, with the people that he impressed and marked, we wouldn't fit in here because of the person that he was, the person that he is, right? Was because he was more spunky, more doable, and more, right? Now he's kind of slowing down. He doesn't stop. He is very stubborn. I am the sister of Vilma, and every time he came into a family dinner, a family party, every time he walked into where he walked to, he just didn't do anything. He's always doing something, whether it was taking someone's cup, bringing the plate to the sink, offering a ride, offering a plate of food, but whatever and wherever he was, Gary was always doing something. And tonight for me is beautiful because every time I see him now, as he has aged, and I appreciate people like Jerry, I am very proud, and all I can say to him each and every time is how much I love him. And for me, it would be an honor, and I think for the city of New Haven, it would be an honor to provide and to approve that corner for Jay Bell. Not because of Jay Bell, because of what he means to our community. And people of our next generation should hear about people like Jerry, because people are going to need inspiration. The way things are going now, you know, you can hear of people working within the community, but Jerry was nonstop. And I think if he was granted another 1,000 years, there would be a whole lot more testimonies to the person who he is. He is genuine, authentic,
And his heart is just full of good. And I thank you to the committee, I thank you to everyone who's here, faces that are recognizable, of course, and some people I don't know. But for me, it's beautiful to know that my brother, because I call him my brother, how much he's marked this generation, or for the coming generations, that when kids do look up into that corner and say, who's that? Someone can tell them a story about who Jay Bell really was. Thank you.
Put that sign up right now.
Is there anyone else that was going to testify? Well, I appreciate you all being here and for testifying on Mr. Bell's behalf. You know, these are stories that need to continue. I hope you write them down, maybe write a book. Yeah. We always hear the bad about New Haven. Now, these are the stories that we really need to hear because there's more good than there is bad. So I truly appreciated all of your stories that you shared this evening. Thank you for your testimony. You're welcome. Thank you for listening. Thank you. I wish you were here. Oh, yeah.
Me too, but it's okay. We understand.
Yes, me too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on this item? Please come forward. If there's anyone from the public that would like to speak on this item, please come forward. And for a third time, if there's anyone else that would like to speak on this corner naming for Mr. Bell, please come forward. Saying none, we'll move on to the next item, which is also a corner naming, and I will ask my colleague, Alder Streeter, to present it. Alder Streeter, state your name and address for the record, please, and then move forward to start.
So the street is 428 Peaceful Avenue. I'm here on the ground building for Mr. James Romina Perkins. They founded their own in the 60s in Pittsburgh area and it lasted for several decades. Mr. Perkins, his wife, they married people who was less fortunate than others have to pay for funerals. And here, Mr. Tony DeRothstein, which is he remembers also platinum there, come through the funeral also. Mr. Perkins happened to be the grandfather of my son. And as a little kid coming up, I remember the funeral and as I got of age, so I was asking that the board would use the street corner name. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Streeter. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on behalf of the Perkins Corner? Please come forward. Good evening. I would ask that you state your name and address for the record and go into your testimony.
Anthony Dawson, 28 Ann Street, New Haven.
Don't repeat.
New Haven, 06519. No, it's just when you start thinking about that stuff and they even allowed Senator Lord Weicker to give me an internship. And I was too old, so he came in and gave another kid in my high school a page, which paid him $1,000. I had a phenomenal life just on people there. And James A. and Wilhelmina Perkins was one of them, or those two individuals were also a part of my life. I love them too because they were a perfect match. And they ran a business that is not a normal business that people like running. But I could say that based on what I've known about them, that there was nothing that they wouldn't do if there was a family that could not afford to put their family and loved ones away with decency, that they didn't have to worry about whether they got paid or not. They would make sure it happened. They were that kind of person. Mr. Perkins, he owned another funeral home in Georgia, where his family originally started their business out. Some of my dad, they were very close, as well as he was a Connecticut Transit driver. And he retired from the Connecticut Transit to open up Perkins Funeral Home at this one. And so him and his wife ran a real beautiful business, and they were just two wonderful people. And I would not sit back and not say a few words tonight about them and about Deacon Cotton that all were in my life, and I admire all of them, and they're very worthy people to get the chance done tonight with Jay Bell. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your testimony.
Mhm.
Questions? Thank you, Mr. Dawson.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Streeter, if you might speak a little about, Ms. Wilhelmina. I just noted that I think it was quite unique that a woman of her day would be our licensed female director herself. So
Yes.
if you might speak, so we can feel
Miss
excited.
Miss Wilhelmina came from the Hilton family, and the Hilton family is a very, 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 very political, also very educated family here in Layville. And when she got with James A, they just made sure that they could run the business themselves and didn't have the outsiders running it. And that's why the unique part about it, they were, I think, one of the, I've known because of our business, a lot of times we have to travel and greet families that lose their loved ones, but I don't think we have too many that top Wilhelmina and James A in this town. They were a caring, loving couple, and she just was a mother. Actually, Alexis that worked in Mayor Hart's office that was their daughter, that's their living daughter, Alexis. So she worked in Mayor's Hart office before she retired. And so Miss Wilhelmina was a perfect lady. She just loved running the business, and she loved the business. And James A just went out and talked to community folks and made sure that they understood that they were in the business of helping people at their most hour time. You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say thank you, Mr. Dawson, former alder, for the help, for all you did in your services.
Thank you.
Awesome committee. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
For being here.
Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on behalf of this board and Amy for Mr. and Mrs. Perkins? Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on behalf of this board and Amy? Please come forward. And for a third time, if there's anyone that would like to testify regarding this board and Amy, please come forward. Okay, seeing none. That concludes the items on the agenda. Do I hear a motion to close the public portion of this meeting?
So moved. Second.
Public portion closing has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the public portion? Seeing none, all in favor of closing the public portion, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Public portion is officially closed. Do I hear a motion to move item number 1?
So moved, Madam Chair. Second.
Item 1 has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this corner naming regarding Deacon John Cotton Senior corner?
Yes, I say John Cotton Senior. John Cotton Senior. I remember as a kid growing up, the Cotton Barber Shop here, on the corner of Orchard and Edgewood. Also, I remember the Cottons growing up, from church. They were very talented, sang, preach, play. I think this is honor. Someone recognized that is still here to see it, and I vote in favor of this item.
Thank you, Alder Streeter. Any further discussion on this morning? Okay, seeing none, I'm just gonna add that, these corner names are actually something I look forward to because of the stories that are told regarding, New Haven people, residents who live in the city. And Deacon Cotton is someone that I didn't know until this evening, but will stay with me because he helped shape the neighborhood, as we heard. He made everyone feel safe. His business was not only a barber shop, but it was a safe haven for a lot of the neighborhood kids. And I mentioned before, we hear sometimes only the bad, but there's so much more good in this city than there is bad. And I wish everyone could hear these stories on the news versus the bad news, because these are the stories that everyone is gonna carry with them. And I'm glad that Deacon Cotton came forward and actually was here, giving us a chance to actually meet him. So that for me was an honor. I'll stop there because community building is something that we all do and should do and continue to do for the good of our city that we love so much. Any further discussion on this item? Okay.
Alder Feston, can I just have you note for the record that it's COTTEN?
Yes, is it not there? Okay, just for the record, it is Deacon John E. Cotton, as in COTTEN, Senior Corner. Since there's no further discussion, all in favor of this item say aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? The ayes carry. Do I hear a motion to move item number 2?
So moved, Madam Chair. Second.
Item 2 has been moved and seconded. This too is a corner naming for Jared Bell. Any discussion on this item? Alder Singh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's Lord, the testimony for Mr. Bell. He's a remarkable person, and this is what we call community builder. From the neighborhood, he takes it as he work with our neighbor, work with our community, and the testimony speaks for itself. He's a remarkable person and a well-deserved name at this corner for Mr. Bell. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Singh. Any further discussion?
Just wanted to comment about somebody that I knew and what a blessing to have heard about and come to know my heart. Just very struck by the number of people and just sort of all the different people who showed up to speak on his behalf. It wasn't lots of their family comes and dear friends, but this was the community, and just to hear the names or the lists of the names of the children from this house, it's just extraordinary not only what he gave himself, but what he's built, and how he's blessed these generations and the relations between them and the community building was just extraordinary to observe. We felt blessed tonight, so it was really a blessing to see. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Again, everything you just said, all the remarks, is really a testament, right, of who this human being is when the community shows up for you. I mean, for 96 years old, World War II veteran, so he served our country. He never stops. As we learned, he's still going. He's the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps on going, even at 96 years old. So God bless him. He started a community garden because he was tired of seeing this piece of land being dumped on. And through that garden, the community grew. And that garden still flourishes today, which is something that is impressive on many levels. It's even, the mustard seed, right? You plant the seed, you watch it grow, you tend to it. And that's a garden, but it's a community that we have to tend to as well. That everyone has to tend to. Mr. Bell has obviously done that. He planted the seed, he tended to it, and the community has grown through that love, through that caring, through that community service. So I am supportive of this item, and I encourage my colleagues to also support it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of this item say aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? The ayes carry. Do I hear a motion to move item number 3?
So moved, Madam Chair. Second.
Item 3 has been moved and seconded, and this is in regard to Anita and James Perkins Corner. Any discussion? Alder Schmidt. Thank you, Madam Chair. I am in support
this item and want to echo something that you said, Madam Chair, a little bit ago, which is I think this is just one of the most special privileges we get to have as a board to hold space for these stories and these testimony. And what makes me think about it is, I believe one of the individuals who testified talked about, you know, how many stories are held in one person, and that they hoped when they looked at the corner naming that young people in the future and for generations to come would be able to understand the weight this person had in so many people's lives. And it makes me wonder, a reflection is whether it's the role of a partnership with the city historian or the New Haven Free Public Library to create an anthology of some of these stories of individuals who have had corners named after them, such that there is a place, an anthology of this testimony, even if it's all of the written testimony here. But I would be very open and interested in being a part of a group that gets together to think about how do we, in addition to the corner naming, find some way for someone who's curious to learn about any of the three individuals tonight to learn a little bit more. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Officer, and I support. Any further discussion?
Yes, I would like to.
Officer.
Yes, I'd just like to say that, as I quoted earlier, it was remarkable back in the '60s, they opened up, you know, a funeral home in Ward 21 and stayed there several decades, and like I said, helping families, and I just wish that everyone vote in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Schreiber. Any further discussion? You know, I'll just add that I say more power to Amina because it sounds like maybe she actually ran the business. And back then, for a woman to be, as Alder Marks pointed out, a funeral director in the '60s, that's pretty impressive. You know, again, and it's funny I say this while it was, you know, funeral directors that we're speaking about. What life do we want to live between birth and death? We are born and we die, but there's a lot in between there. And what is it that we want to do? And tonight, I think this is a testament of some really amazing human beings that have done. Some of which are still alive, and you know, some who have are deceased. But there's a legacy there, and that's what all of these corner names give us, you know, food for thought. No pun intended with our community learning, but food for thought as to, you know, we are born and we die, but what do we do in between? So I'm in favor of this corner naming, and I hope you all will support that as well. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of this item, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? The ayes carry. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our items for this evening. I think it was a very fruitful one. I think it's one that we can all reflect upon. And I'm glad it was actually just that, just your point of view tonight, because we're taking something back with us. So with that being said, anything anyone wants to add? Okay. So I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
A motion to adjourn has been moved and seconded, and discussion on adjournment. Seeing none, all in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Any nays, abstentions? We are adjourned. Thank you everyone for being here.
We not realize yes, we're not the phone.
Thank you. Somebody appreciate this.
Right, yeah.